A new format for the BBE entrance exam, a new grading system, and a lot of misconceptions about that could potentially cost you your spot at Vienna. My name is Nicolas. I went through the whole bachelor's degree in business and economics, and in this video I will show you what really matters for the BBE entrance exam, how the new format looks like, and how you can use the new grading system to your advantage. First of all, we will dive into the theory of the partial points grading system, and then I will show you the 3 different scenarios how this grading system plays out based on entrance exam-like tasks from our mock exam platform. To start, you might have many questions at this point. That's normal, just take a couple minutes. I will try to go over all of them throughout this video. If a question remains until the end, just put it into the comments and I will tell you the answer in the comment section. To get started, you need to understand the new entrance exam format. This is a task. A task consists of 5 individual statements, and the whole task is assigned a maximum number of points, which is distributed across these statements. Now, how the grading system works is outlined by the partial credit grading system. How many points you get awarded for answering a correct option and how many points you get deducted for answering an incorrect one. Yes, there are negative points, but many people get this wrong. We will talk about the theory of this grading system now, and afterwards we'll talk about 3 different situations, how this actually applies, because it differs a little bit depending on how many correct options are in each task. It's very important to get this one right, and therefore I will read from my notes. Each task, remember, a block of 5 answer options or 5 statements is assigned a maximum point value and scored on a per statement basis. All tasks are independent of each other. You earn the maximum point value for a task if you select all of the correct statements and none of the incorrect ones. Partial credit is awarded for tasks that are answered partially correct. Negative points apply within each task, with a floor of 0. This means that for every task you can earn between 0 and the maximum number of points set for that task. First, very important learning: if you happen to select just incorrect statements within a task, you don't get negative points. These negative points just apply within one task, but I will show you based on an example. How the points are calculated depends on the combination of correct and incorrect answer options or statements within that task. There are in general 3 different situations how the points that get awarded or deducted for choosing a particular statement are calculated. I know it's a bit complicated, but no worries, we'll get to it. One important thing to keep in mind is that you don't know how many correct answer options are there in a task during the exam. It's most important for applying the grading scheme, but if you understand the grading scheme, then you can draw some important tactics from it and maximize the number of points. I have summarized the 3 main learnings in the very end of this video, but you need to make sure to understand how the grading system works to actually use it to your advantage. As we said, each task consists of 5 statements, and between 1 and 5 statements are correct. The grading scheme differentiates between 3 different situations, depending on the number of correct answer options per task. Situation A, 1 correct answer option. Situation B, more than 1 correct answer option, which means 2, 3 or 5 correct answer options, not 4. 4 is a special case. This is case C, all answer options correct but 1. Let's see how this turns out using entrance exam-like tasks. Here we go. This is the first task. Take this opportunity, stop the video and try the task yourself before we go to the solutions. See if you can solve it. Don't be lazy. Get up, take a piece of paper, a calculator and solve this task. Now we will move on. How does the grading system work in this case? This is a maths task, obviously with a maximum number of 3 points, and just from looking at it, you can't tell which scenario it belongs to. You don't know how many correct answer options are in this task. It is scenario A, exactly 1 correct answer. I know it just because I made the task and I know the solutions. But how does the grading system work here? So, scenario A, just 1 correct answer. This question is scored on an all or nothing basis. The maximum number of points are awarded only if you select the 1 correct statement and none of the false ones. So, if you want to get points on this one, you just have to tick 1 correct statement, nothing else. In all other cases, 0 points are awarded. It doesn't matter if you tick 1 other or 2 others or just incorrect ones. There is a floor of 0. You don't get negative points beyond the task, it's just within the task. Congratulations! If you found the 1 correct answer option, you get full points. If you clicked something else next to the correct answer option or just the incorrect ones, you get 0 points. No negative points beyond that. Keep that in mind, and therefore it's always worth giving it a shot. If you have no clue how to solve this task, it doesn't matter. Worst case, 0 points, as if you wouldn't even try it. Best case, you get lucky, score the lucky solution. Now we jump into the next task. This is from the subtopic marketing of the business and economics topic. As you can see, here you can get a maximum of 4 points, which is different to the mathematics task before, and this is a very important finding for you. The points are not distributed equally across the 3 chapters: mathematics, business and economics, and English. And therefore, it makes sense to allocate your time preparing for each single topic proportionally. If you're curious how the points distribution looks like, follow our channel and the algorithm will show you the video where we'll talk about that. But for now, stop the video, try to solve the task yourself, and then I will show you the solutions. This particular task belongs to scenario B. More than 1 correct answer option. Either 2, 3 or 5. We don't know. These type of questions are scored with partial credit and negative points. Remember that the maximum number of points differs from question to question between tasks. Well, it is indicated separately for each one. Before it was 3, now it's 4. And each task has a specific number of correct and false statements, as you can see here. But you won't know these during the exam. We already spoke about that. So now we get to the point how to calculate how many points you get awarded or deducted for choosing a particular statement. Let's start with the correct ones. You divide the maximum number of points by the number of correct statements. And this way you get how many points you get awarded per correct statement. Now it's easy. You have maximum number of 4 points divided by 2 correct statements and you break it up. 4 divided by 2 means 2 points are awarded for selecting each correct statement. It's similar for the negative points. You take the number of maximum points for the task and divide it up by the number of incorrect answer options, 3 in this case, and 4 divided by 3 is 1.33, and you get deducted 1.33 points per incorrect answer option you select. These positive and negative points are added up against each other to determine your score for the task. You earn at least 0, the floor, or at most the maximum number of points, which is 4 in this case, the ceiling. As you see, if you select all statements, you get 0 points. You get full points for selecting the true answer options and not choosing a single incorrect one. And if you happen to have a couple answer options selected that were correct and a couple that were incorrect, you add up these points against each other and you arrive at the number of points you would have gotten for this particular task. If you happen to just select the incorrect ones, well, that's unlucky, then once again, there is the floor of 0. You don't get negative points for that task. It's just 0. Remember, negative points only exist within a task, and all of the tasks are scored independently from each other. Once again, in case you're uncertain how to solve a task, give it a shot. Worst case, 0 points. Best case, you select some of the correct answer options, maybe some of the incorrect ones, but you end up with more points if you were just to skip the task completely. Now we move to the third and final entrance exam-like task. Once again, stop the video right here, try to solve the task on your own. Now we'll move to the solutions, and for everyone who was attentive throughout the video, you already know. This is situation C, 4 correct statements, which means all but one correct answer option. If you were to apply the grading scheme that we have discussed for the prior task, you would realize that there is a big disincentive to selecting the incorrect answer option. You would get deducted all of the points. And because this would be met, there is a softening mechanism in place. Let me explain how the grading system works for situation C. Once again, the positive and negative points are added up against each other to determine your score for the question. You earn at least 0 or at most the maximum number of points for that question. You will get all of the points if you find all of the correct answers. If you happen to miss one statement, you don't get awarded the points for this particular statement. It's just 0, as you can see here or here. And if you happen to select some of the correct ones and the one incorrect ones, you might be lucky. You might end up with a positive number of points or with 0 points. You're lucky. These are the only 3 grading situations you might encounter on the BBE entrance exam. Now you understand them, and what's even more important is to draw some implications, to learn how to use them to your own advantage during the entrance exam to make sure you have the best chances to succeed. Let's talk about the learnings. If you would like to use such entrance exam-like tasks for your own preparation, you will find them with step-by-step solutions on our website, bbe-insider.com. Just create an account, access the free sample paper, and you will find them. Moreover, we provide a full BBE preparation course as well as a last-minute preparation course with the most important condensed materials for those who started the preparation a little bit too late. But now let's get to the learnings. First of all, be aware that the WU BBE entrance exam and the whole selection procedure for business and economics is extremely competitive. About 3,900 people have applied this year and only 240 spots are available. This makes this whole selection procedure more competitive than Harvard Business School. Yes, the famous business university. What does it mean for you? You need to get the most points possible, the best score. You need to prepare thoroughly for all of the topics, and you need to try to make the most points in every single task. If you try to be overly cautious and miss out on selecting one correct statement per task because you fear getting negative points, you probably end up having too little points at the end and things don't work out for you. There's only one option. You try to get as many points per task as possible, and the best way to do that is to prepare yourself thoroughly. It's normal to prepare a couple months for this exam. I even know people who spend about 1 to 1.5 years preparing, so please don't wonder if things don't work out for you if you just start preparing a month before the exam. Try it again next year and you will have way better chances. A second very common misconception is that negative points apply across tasks. They don't. I already showed you throughout the video. It's just within tasks. If you have no clue about how to solve, how to approach a certain task, because you see it the very first time, as you haven't prepared thoroughly. You just give it a shot. Worst case, you end up earning 0 points. And if you're lucky, you might guess it correctly. That's good. Third learning. Once you have already selected 3 or 4 statements and you're pretty confident that they're right, but not very confident in the remaining ones, you better stop there, because you're very disincentivized for going beyond that. You get negative points, and if you already feel like this is likely false, then the downside potential of getting negative points is greater than the upside of selecting like the 4th correct option. Keep that in mind. And the opposite situation calls for the opposite approach. If you haven't selected anything at all, but 1 or 2 statements seem like they could apply, go ahead and select them. You know there's at least 1 correct answer option in every single task, and selecting a 2nd answer option isn't that big of a deal. Because if there was just 2 correct ones, the negative points distribute across 3 statements, and therefore you don't get that many points deducted and still end up earning some points for that particular task. Now we will wrap it up here. You learned about the new entrance exam format, encountered 3 new entrance exam-like tasks. I hope they were helpful. And most importantly, you now understand how the grading system works across these 3 different situations. With that being said, if you would like to prepare with such entrance exam-like tasks, as shown in the video, go to bbe-insider.com, sign up for free and start your preparation today. I would love to meet you on campus. I would love to welcome you to one of our preparation courses or the mentoring program. And if you have any questions about that or the grading system, something else, just leave a comment or contact us at Instagram, TikTok, wherever. We will help you out. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.